New comic panel out just for Join members. Become a member of the channel now and get access to hundreds of dollars of free art every single month. There are tons of things I want to see in the Kenobi show. However, one thing in particular is the incorporation of Qui-Gon Jinn. The last time we left Obi-Wan and Yoda in Revenge of the Sith, Yoda told Obi-Wan that he learned to commune with his old master, Qui-Gon. Now, in the novel, the Revenge of the Sith novel, which was signed off by George Lucas and written by Matthew Stover, actually refers to Qui-Gon as Yoda's master. That's right, Yoda calls Qui-Gon his master now. Jinn learned how to transfer his essence into the Force from the Wills, from the Ones, in the Clone Wars, if you remember. So this whole Force Ghost thing starts with him. If it wasn't for Qui-Gon Jinn, Yoda wouldn't know it, nor would Obi-Wan or Anakin and so on. If you didn't know, Qui-Gon was actually talking to Yoda during this scene where Yoda is meditating on Polis Massa as Bail Organa interrupts him to inform him about Padme and Obi-Wan. So the dialogue was intended to be there for the film, and we can even see it in a deleted scene, which was really a stand-in for what was going to happen. However, it was cut out. But it was left in the novel, which was approved by George and written by Matthew Stover. So what I'd really like to see is Qui-Gon communicating with Obi-Wan, as it's been 10 years now since Yoda told him about this, that it is possible to talk to the dead. I'd find it weird if Qui-Gon Jinn never reached out, or if Kenobi never tried to speak to his old master. It just feels like such a close connection like that needs to be developed somehow. I also feel like through the Force, Yoda and Obi-Wan will be able to connect and speak to each other, kind of like a Force Skype kind of thing, just like Vader and Luke have done. Now, we could also get some scenes with Yoda as well as to what he's doing on Dagobah, let alone if Kenobi actually goes there or someone visits him. Now, I believe Kenobi's journey at this point will be extremely dark, and I'm going to make a video about this by itself because there's more I want to talk about, but I don't want to digress too much. Now, at this point, there's no rebellion, the Empire is embarking on full power, and things just really aren't in the favor of the good guys, so to speak. The galaxy is also teeming with Inquisitors willing to do anything to prove their worth to the Empire, so Kenobi must find a way to achieve balance in the Force, and with all of these things going on and everything turning against him and going against him, I feel like he's really going to need that special, calm, level-headed advice from his master, who really Qui-Gon was one of the only Jedi that had this ability to just sort of trust in the Force, and probably be the most emotionless in the sense of not being a robot, but just not being so political like the other Jedi were, and allowing those emotions of being loyal to the Republic clouding their judgments. I believe Kenobi will probably have some of the worst demons in his mind from everything that has happened with, his master to Satine to Anakin and Order 66 and beyond. And now the stress of saving this boy or keeping this boy safe, the chosen one, the last known hope to the galaxy, Luke Skywalker, that Kenobi will really need some extra help, and I hope that this is going to be in the form of Qui-Gon Jinn at some point when things really start to crack down on him. As for appearing to Anakin, that would be cool, like the Clone Wars, but it's really impossible since at this point the dark side doesn't allow Force ghosts of the light to reach them. They're quite closed off from that interaction, so if you think of it like a switch, just Anakin doesn't have that ability at this point. Or should I say Vader. Now, it has been done in Legends with Cade Skywalker and Luke, however, that's Legends, and we obviously are going to get something totally different here. So I do fully believe that Qui-Gon Jinn could indeed show up to Kenobi, and the things he could teach him are far beyond just, hey, be calm or be level-headed. He did show up to Kenobi in the actual Kenobi Legends novel, and this happened when Obi-Wan found out that Anakin was still alive, and he heard about this in a cantina. They were speaking about Darth Vader in the cantina, and Obi-Wan freaked out and he went outside, and Qui-Gon actually reached out to him and he started to speak to him through the Force, telling him to calm down and to mind his thoughts. A very typical Qui-Gon conversation, but it was essentially very needed because this was one of the moments in the book where Obi-Wan just goes absolutely insane. Very far from the typical level-headed and calm Obi-Wan Kenobi that we know. So I'm really expecting something like that to happen in the show, where Obi-Wan is just kind of very distant from who he was. I mean, in the comics, in the canon comics, he was also just fighting Tusken Raiders without a lightsaber. That's to not draw attention, but just to keep in shape and to get his aggression and his emotions out. Because I can imagine he probably has a ton of sorrow, a ton of depression, and there's really nothing for him to do other than just sit around and watch Luke. As for him getting off world, I'm not really sure if that's going to happen, but there are rumors about it. So I could see this also being a position where Qui-Gon Jinn would reach out to him, or he would reach out to Qui-Gon and say, instruct me, Master, what must I do? I should be watching over the boy, but I feel like I must go, I must leave in order to follow through with this mission, or protect this other person, or go see Leia, or whatever it might be that the plot point is. Perhaps we could get Ahsoka to come in and watch over Luke. That would give a lot more weight to them meeting in the Book of Boba Fett like we saw. Either way, I'd really love to hear Qui-Gon's voice, and as for seeing him, I think it would be sweet. However, in canon in the books, from a certain point of view, Qui-Gon didn't actually show his full form until just before A New Hope. So if they want to go against that, which I don't really see them having a problem doing, they've done it before with the comics as well, just retconning stuff, I feel like it is possible. My 3 favorite Jedi ever are Anakin, Qui-Gon, and Luke, so I would really love to see Qui-Gon Jinn once again, or at least hear his voice just like we did throughout the Clone Wars, and even in Attack of the Clones. So we do know that he is keeping a watchful eye on things as to how much he can actually reach out and meddle with situations. Probably he can, but I feel like he doesn't want to because it's just not the will of the Force, unless it's a really dire situation, I suppose. So we'll see what happens, or rather, we'll hear what happens. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Now, fulfill